Such a simple plot, and yet the witch's garden was surprisingly good to me. I remember being younger and not enjoying this episode quite as much as others, but it was still fine. But this time, upon rewatch, I did enjoy it. And while it wasn't the plot that kept me hooked and sunk in as much as I would have hoped it would have, it was still enjoyable to some extent, and the characters within drove it much further. Our story is that Finn and Jake are following a frog with a crown, which eventually leads them to the witch's garden. Immediately, the atmosphere is amazing. It's beautiful, colorful, it's vibrant, it feels alive. These are things that I love in cartoons, and I'm glad that Adventure Time has scenery like this to make the land of Ood just have that extra touch of beauty to it. After Jake is sniffing her donuts, the witch accuses him of eating one without her permission, and Jake denies as such. So this exchange goes as follows.
I didn't, I just sniffed it.
You're lying! The stink of magic dog lips is everywhere!
Well, I never ate your donuts.
You're eating one right now!
I'm not. Whoa!
This scene right here is kind of interesting. Was this Jake's subconscious grabbing a donut without him really paying attention to what he was doing off screen? Or was this the witch using her magic to give him the donut so her narrative would be then proven? I have no idea, but I do kind of find it interesting to give it some thought.
Uh-oh.
Dude, are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. Just a little chilly. Whoa!
To punish Jake for his crimes, the witch casts a man-baby body on Jake, and now he cannot use his magic powers, and his overall physical ability is completely in shambles. The witch claims that if he apologizes to her, then he can have his powers back. But Jake is too full of pride to do something like that, so the boys brainstorm an alternative way to get his powers back. Jake's recall eventually takes him back to a mud puddle. Now, I like how loosely this is handled in this episode because of how Jake's story changes in later seasons. As we all know, Adventure Time becomes a little bit more story and continuity heavy as the seasons go on, and so they do bother to give Jake a proper backstory to where his powers come from. And so to make him so uncertain and sort of doubtful of where his powers come from now, I think in hindsight, is a really good choice. What ensues in the next couple of scenes is pretty self-explanatory. Jake cannot perform everyday tasks. He cannot run for long, he cannot swim, and it's hard to say whether it's the man-baby body that causes this to happen or it's just him being lazy. We find out in this episode that Jake himself is not the most motivated person to get around, at least not without his powers anyway. I am going off on a tangent regarding Jake as a character, but to continue the story, Finn and Jake do encounter the mud puddle, but it is across the river of modern day COD players. Across the river of trash. Due to Jake's refusal to swim across, Finn instead decides to build him a catapult to send him there. Not without starting up a little bit of trouble though. Finn does successfully get Jake across the river, but the mud puddle accomplishes nothing. But now, here comes said trouble.
Behold the beautiful mermaid of the river. Which one of you mortals wants to mate with all this?
I'm sorry, what did you say? Finn offers to break her out of her delusion, and unfortunately, she gets pissed off and feeds him to a bird's nest. Jake realizes the only way to save Finn is by getting his powers back, so he heads for the witch's garden to ask her for forgiveness, but instead she wants to humiliate him first.
Hey, Jake the dog, while slow dancing with my subconscious with flowers in my underwear, do humbly apologize.
Wait, start over.
You're recording this? I'm dying, Jake. What?
He says he's dying.
Let that be a lesson to all you cupcakes.
If only I were a humbler guy, my subconscious would be alive and my best bud wouldn't be trapped in a mermaid's nest.
I forgive you.
My powers! How can I ever thank... Ha! Gotcha, Kane.
This is the last of the witch that we see in Adventure Time, and I'm a little bit sad about that because I actually enjoyed her character quite a bit. The witch has a lot of characteristics that allows me to paint a picture in my head about what her story leading up to present time could have been. My guess is that due to her hatred towards dishonesty and being portrayed as something you're not, such as the bagel was amongst the donuts, maybe she had a really rough relationship where somebody isn't what they seemed like. She's probably cold-shouldered the way that she is out of protection for herself. She probably wants to enact revenge on people as something that she wishes she could have done with her past relationship, say if this story was true. And don't give me that look. If the show can talk about a skeleton wanting to have sex with a 12-year-old boy, then I'm sure this isn't off the table. Now that Jake has his powers back, he can save Finn and give the mermaid a big old kiss. Not disgusting at all, right guys? The Witch's Garden was a good episode, a solid 8 out of 10 even. Even though its plot wasn't riveting, its story wasn't the most memorable or anything along the lines of that, it was still decent. Sometimes giving us a chance to provide our own headcanon rather than filling in the dots for us is the better alternative. And I think that was the case with the witch, and that might be why I enjoyed her character so much. And learning more about Jake is an opportunity I will always take by the bullhorns. I don't have much to complain about this episode. They could have done things a little better, with, like I said, with the main story, but that's all I have to say. So with that in mind, thank you for watching my review, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, and goodbye.